to Africa. Look who we have here. Another sister that I've ran into from the same mother, the motherland. And she is doing some great things here in Dubai, been here for some years. We're going to get into that questioning, but I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, and we will move from there.
Hello, everyone. This is Lizabitty of the Lizabitty channel, okay? So I reached out to Mr. Go Black to Africa, and here we are getting ready to do some collaborations today. So I hope that you enjoy the content. Back to you.
All righty, all right. Now, she reached out to me and all, and about a month or so ago or so, yeah, something like that. And I said, well, hey, if I'm ever there, hey, I might look you up. So we're here, and here at Dubai Mall. So those who haven't seen my previous video, I was here in Dubai Mall, and it's a beautiful place. So hey, check it out. All right, so excuse me, I want to make sure I say that right. Is it little bitty or is it little? What is it? Lizabitty. Lizabitty. What brings you to Dubai?
Work. As simply put, work brought me to Dubai. Work pretty much relocated me here. And so that's actually how I came.
Okay.
Very simple.
Work. Now, what type of work do you do?
So I work in light construction and operations and maintenance. So of those of you who know about operation and maintenance, we can use this mall as an example. What keeps this mall functional outside of these restaurants and things? Electrical, plumbing, HVAC systems, all of that. So yes, that's the field that I work in.
Okay. How many years you been here or dealt with Dubai?
So I've been coming to Dubai for 15 plus years. I have been living here permanently for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why 15 years? What is it that attracts you to Dubai?
So to tell that story, we have to go back many, many years.
Okay, we'll put it on short.
Tell my age. You always telling your age because you're a man. You always telling your age. Anyway, I'm happy to be 46. Thank you.
There you go.
So initially I've changed careers 3 times, okay? Initially when I came to this region of the earth, I actually first went to Kuwait, and you talk about your time in Kuwait.
Yep.
So I initially went to Kuwait. I was in Kuwait for almost 3 years. At that time, I was actually teaching special needs children. A parent of mine that loved how I was teaching, etc., presented me with an opportunity that I could not refuse. And he and I and his wife, we're still friends to this day. They are Kuwaiti, and he taught me a new career that I never thought that I would ever use in my life. I never thought about it. And so I always said to myself, okay, if I don't like it, I can go back to teaching.
Right.
Well, hence to tell you, I have never returned to teaching.
Okay.
And since the skill set he taught me then, I've actually changed again from that, what he taught me. And so that's how I got my first foot plant in the region, going into education in Kuwait, then changing my career there with the behest of a parent that loved what I was doing, and the rest is kind of history.
Okay. So basically, you're very familiar with being in a Muslim state.
Correct.
And so Dubai was basically something easy for you really to transition over into. But you said 15 years, so you're coming back and forth as far as work's concerned, or just the interest of travel, or what have you, or what?
So coming back and forth, the interest of travel as well as work. I do have a dear friend of mine. She is married to a Saudi Arabian, and so I've been to Saudi Arabia as well. I went to visit them.
Okay, hold on. A sister? Black Americans, they like to call it. Black American or some other ethnicities?
What she would call herself, to respect her mother and her father is Somalian, her mother is Caucasian.
Okay.
But she calls herself an olive complexion person. Okay. Now, whatever she checks on, let's say legal documents, I couldn't tell you.
That's her business.
Exactly.
It's her business. I don't even care. But
right.
Anyway.
So that's how that actually came about. Coming for work, etc. We have had a lot of construction projects in this particular country. And so, of course, naturally, I've come here for work, and then, of course, I've come here for pleasure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of some questions.
Get
all
down
right?
to the
Because
nitty-gritty.
I know what people's thinking. I know they ask me all these different questions. How are you being treated as a sister here in a Muslim country? You know, there's all these whether you want to call them rumors, or there's videos of how maybe some Africans are being treated here by some, can't say all, but how are you being treated? Are you respected? Are you, please share with the people your experience here.
So that is a very good question. Let me say this. I am a person, I'm a Leo. And so I have thick skin.
Yeah.
So minuscule things really don't bother me. Now, if you get egregious and disrespectful, the lioness would destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to play psychological games with people.
Yeah.
So, but in totality, just as a person of melanated descent here, I don't have any qualms in this regard, because this question is actually twofold. And I've talked about this before on my channel as well. I'm going to give you an example. So as an American...
Leos love to give examples, boy.
We sure do, don't we? But as a black woman coming from the States, the way that I'm treated is different, let's say, than a black woman coming from Nigeria. And she could be highly educated. Because the culture here reveres the West and their educational systems,
yeah.
Okay? And so
the whole world does that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so naturally I would get peripheral treatment over, let's say, a sister who's coming from Nigeria, and she probably has vastly more education and certifications than I ever could have. But it's just the nature of how things are. And you've traveled enough to understand that yourself.
Yep.
So in that case, I'm saying I'm treated well. Okay? Now, the continental Africans who come here, a lot of them are not treated very well. However, the caveat to that is this. I don't know how many Nigerians you know. I know a lot of Nigerians.
I've met nothing but almost Nigerians since I've been here.
Okay.
Yeah, five people I've been
but
here.
Do you know some intimately?
One
say,
who was
okay.
my neighbor back home at where I was staying at.
So,
he was Nigerian, yes.
So, okay, typically they have very strong personalities, and they are not going to allow you to disrespect them, belittle them, talk down to them. And so what has happened just in the UAE in general is that, and you may have seen this right at the brink of C-19, a lot of Nigerians were not allowed to enter here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then that caused the Nigerian government to basically put a ban. I don't know if you saw that, they put a ban on Emirates Airlines flying into Nigeria. They basically did tit for tat. What many of your viewers are going to see here today, a lot of the buildings that you see here, a lot of this is Nigerian talent. Nigerians produce some of the most powerful engineers known to mankind. They got that math game on lock. Don't you let anybody else tell you that here.
Africans in general, we are just
Period.
we are just innovative and creative people.
We are, but it's something about them in engineering.
Of course, yeah.
And all facets go black in terms of engineering. I mean, I'm talking
I know
civil,
what it is, sister.
mechanical, I mean, everything.
You know why? People say that the biggest scammers out there in Africa is Nigerians. But I will say this right here. I don't even look at it like that. So I don't worry about the scammers. What I hear when people say that is that they because of the creativity that we have, they know how to take things to a different level.
Yes.
They know how to the ingenuity.
Yes.
I mean, take it to the next level. I mean, that's why they have like a Semi-Valley computer gurus there.
Yes.
That they even who was it said that they use Nigerians, the companies say they use the Nigerians as far as running their whole computer systems and stuff.
I'm serious. So that's what I'm saying. No matter what facet of engineering in which you speak of,
Yeah.
they got the game on lock.
Yeah.
And they don't get enough credit because, just as you said, people want to attribute scamming to them. Well, I say this to you all who are listening and who will catch the scamming.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now, when you do some causative research, find out who started the scamming, and then you can say where they picked it up from.
Exactly.
That's going to tell you who the biggest scammers are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But people always saying that, like Nigerians, and I'm like, I don't look at the scam. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, hey, sometimes they want their reparations up quick. So,
Sure.
Quick, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And they're going to go out there and try to get as much as they can out of America. Or any other European or Western, whatever it might be.
I totally agree.
It's just we on the other line might fall victim to it.
Well, possible.
Possibly,
But you know,
yeah.
even like I know a lot of Nigerians that are in Abu Dhabi who work in oil and gas and stuff. I mean, these platforms and things.
Yeah.
Those brothers design a lot of that stuff, and so this is the untold story in that because they have this label on them, you don't realize the great works that they have just done, especially in this region.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you another sleeping giant, and you're probably gonna laugh about this. Jamaicans.
Oh no, I
The
know,
Jamaicans
I know,
sit
yeah.
right here.
Uh-huh.
So about, I want to say about maybe close to 15 years ago, the Emirati government decided that they wanted to produce their own aluminum because the imports were becoming too expensive. And so the people here, once they set their mind to it, it comes to fruition. Whatever they have to do to get the workforce to do it, that's what they do. Well, as you know, there are huge aluminum plants in Jamaica.
Okay.
The brothers there, those guys are mechanical and chemical engineers as well that work with aluminum and how to put the chemical compounds together and create that stuff. The aluminum plant that's here that sits between the border of Abu Dhabi and Dubai, your brothers from Jamaica handling that business. Okay? They are running the Australians that you think are just, oh, they just know so much. No, Jamaicans running it. Most of those guys that work at that plant were in Jamaica working as foremen and shop supervisors for years.
Yeah.
But again, people don't know that when they come here, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They just see a different dynamic because of the beautifulness of the buildings, the architecture, and all of that. But a lot of people don't understand what goes on here.
Right.
So, and you know for yourself, being a traveler, it is different when you are living somewhere versus being a tourist.
Yeah.
Because there's things that you're going to see as a person that lives within the culture that a person who's a tourist is just not going to be able to pick up. They're just not going to pick it up
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
And so there you have it.
Well, we know that, you know, a lot of the foreigners, if you will, you know, some call them the third nationals. Those are the worker bees who's coming in here, and their so-called skills, talents, and gifts are being basically used and to benefit those who have the wealth from that oil. And so, yes, you're right. Everything that you see around here, it's beautiful. But really, who put it all together?
I'm telling you.
And who engineered it?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm telling you. It's astounding. Just because we, meaning us in the diaspora, we see the beauty, but we don't know the stories behind it and all of that. Like you may just hear all of the horror stories about the guys, you know, from India who have fallen down because they wanted to build, you know, Burj Khalifa here and all of that. And okay, but the real testament is the engineers, I'm telling you where they're coming from. They're coming out of Nigeria. They heavy with that math game. Engineering is about serious mathematics. And the brothers and sisters got it together.
Y'all heard it. Hey, y'all heard it. I mean, and I've been saying this. We are a creative engineering type of people that the whole world has used us.
Yes.
Used us. I mean, and we've built these nations, and by our own strength and might, whether it's our brain and our wits or from our physical abilities, this is what we've done around the globe.
Of course.
And that's why I said we need to go ahead and return to Mother Africa, because we can do the same for Mother Africa.
Of course we can. You know, and I'm sure just in other places that you've traveled, when you talk to a lot of continental Africans, and you, especially, I'll speak for myself, the ones that I know here, and when I speak to them and I say, well, why aren't you at home using this great talent at home? And the first thing that I get is the bureaucracy of the politics.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've heard that yourself before.
Heard it a couple times last night.
Yeah, and you know, the thing of it is that these young folks, they are going to be the ones that change all of that. And then you won't have these mass exodus that way. But we in the diaspora, the ones that come from the West, we have to really teeter a line when it comes to their internal politics so that we don't start civil war with differences of ideologies. Because we are not indigenous in that regard, we need to let them get their systems together on their own. It's not that you're just negating everything, but let those young folks be the change they want to see. And then if they need some help from some older folks like ourselves, sure, we'll be willing to help them. You know, I talk a lot about collectivism. That is very, very important. But it is the same tenets that I talk to all of them as to why that they are actually leaving their home countries to go elsewhere. They don't want to deal with the political bureaucracy and everything that fosters, you know. And so at some point, a change is going to come, in the words of Sam Cooke. Now, I may be dead and gone when it gets here, but it's going to come.
It's going to come.
It is.
It's going to come. I told a brother last night from Nigeria that he was complaining about the leaders that are in place, the system that has that's been around. And I said, brother, don't put your energy in trying to talk and change those elders. Talk to the youth.
Say it.
Yes.
Say it.
You got to talk to the youth.
Yes.
The youth is the future.
Yes.
So as long as we educate the youth, then there's a hope for tomorrow.
That, and the youth are not going to think about you when you were 25, even though you were in the military. Think about you when you were 25 and some of the youth today that are 25. A lot of them are polarizing in their own right because they're not going to sit idly by and accept some of the crap that these elders put out that they know is wrong against their own people. So, hey, again, like you said, the youth, they are going to be the ones that are going to set the tenor of the beat of this entire, we're going to call it the big band, the world's big band of melanated people, okay? They're going to have their own horn section, okay? Brass wind sections, okay? Drumming sections, all of that. And they're going to be the ones that make the change that you see. Again, we may not be here to see it ourselves, but it's going to happen. Trust, it's going to happen. The cycle of life shows that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
So
now, that was great history, y'all, about here. We're in Dubai, and it even giving acknowledgement to our accomplishments here that we see the grandeur in Dubai, that we're the ones behind the scenes, that typically we don't get the credit, but we know who's the one put their hand to the plow, you know. But I know everybody's itching to know, this sister's been over in Dubai for these years. Has she ever been over to the motherland?
Why, yes, I have.
Well, yes, she has.
Why, yes, I have. I have been to 20 nations on the continent. I am actually currently with a partner of mine. We are building a institute called Merrily Bakery, an institute for children with sensory impairments to teach them a skilled trade so they can contribute to their own local society. That's what we're doing.
What country is that?
That's in Ghana.
Ghana?
Right
okay.
in Winneba.
Okay.
It's happening right now. See,
Wow.
I put my money where my mouth is. Now, some of you folk do all...
I'm putting it close up.
It's time for me to get started now. You know, because I watch...
She has a podcast, so, you know, she loves to talk, so we're going to get into talk about her podcast in a minute. But go ahead, sister.
But I watch Mr. Go Black here a lot. Now, I don't always comment in the sections, but I watch some of the comments that you all are saying. And you are polite in saying that, listen, ignore some of these folks in the comment section. I do like when you say that. At the same time, some of you folk are grown folk. And especially if you over 30, some of the questions that you folk ask. Now listen, I'm not as polite as him, okay? But let me say this. Google is your friend. Some of you folks still have encyclopedias sitting right in your house that maybe you had from when you were a kid. Use them. Reading is fundamental. I am an avid reader. Some of the questions that you all ask him, they are asinine questions. They really, really are. You can get what you want, just as he has said numerous times, because you all want him to stop what he's doing, to give you small gems of information that you could have gotten on your own, probably in about 10 minutes. But you want someone else who has been traveling and is making the trek to give you everything. That is not how the cycle of life works. You have got to seek knowledge on your own. If you're hungry, seek knowledge and you will be fed. Mm-hmm. If you are hungry, seek knowledge and you will be fed. But some of you folks, you all got to stop, especially if you're over 30. Stop asking some of these ridiculous questions, okay? Just stop it, really. now.
Yeah, I heard it. Now, let me ask you this right
Okay.
here. What are some of the countries? You said 20 nations.
Yes.
Please name some. And if there are any that stands on your list that you maybe have a heart to return to, is there any place in Africa that you see maybe residing in down the road in the future?
So, first, let me answer that by saying I am a nomadic person. I really, Go Black, have never lived in a place more than 5 years.
Same here.
And I have never been in the military, okay?
Yeah.
I like being nomadic. It allows me to see things through a different lens that most people are not able to see. Now, some of the countries that I have visited, been to, Senegal, the Gambia, okay, Ghana, okay, Guinea. Some people say Guinea, I say Guinea, okay, Nigeria, which is, now listen, I am impartial. Nigeria is a favorite of mine.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to necessarily go into why that's a favorite of mine, because I just won't.
There you go. Okay. All right. Any any east of Africa?
Been all through Egypt, been all over Kenya, all over Tanzania, Ethiopia, Eritrea. I mean, I've been to these places. And one thing about me, I don't typically travel and go for 3 and 4 days. I like to divest my time upwards of 30 days because that gives you a lot of insight into wherever you are. People, I was on somebody else's channel a few weeks back, and he was asking me to say, like, wow, that is something, because most people when they travel, maybe they're going for a week or 2 weeks. I said, yeah, but you really cannot get into the culture with those limited windows of time. So personally, I've been able to do that, and so I recognize everyone cannot do that, but if you can go for an extended period of time, do that so that you can see everything, all of your likes and dislikes, okay? Mozambique, the first country I ever visited was Malawi, okay, Malawi. So Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho. So yeah, I mean, I've been around Zanzibar, Madagascar. I mean, I've been around. I've been around. Namibia, I've been around.
Yeah.
I've been around.
Wow. Okay. Well, great. That's beautiful. Now, okay, because your travels of Africa, and we know that you're over here in the UAE. Any other countries that you have embarked on that has left any lasting impressions? And the reason why I'm asking that is because one of the things I share with people is that my channel is not necessarily for those people, like I say, go back to Africa.
Okay.
And I believe that everybody should go back to the root. I believe everybody should visit. You don't have to live, but you can go visit. But I also say that, you know, there are countries out here that we live in that we feel like we get better respect, we get acknowledged, or we can reach our full potential without any potholes or obstacles in our path, so that we know, you know, hey, wow, I got to live my life and live it to the fullest. Is there any other countries that you have found out there besides the motherland, or even here you say you've enjoyed the UAE, that you say, you know what, I know people that live there and they don't have any issues or problems? Or
So that really is a good question. So for me, I'll tell you one of the greatest benefits for me actually living here. I've been on 6 continents, okay?
Okay.
And of all the places I have ever been, this is the safest place I've ever lived.
Here. Okay.
And when I talk about safety, I am a single woman with no children, and I'm here to tell you that Elizabeth loves to party. Now, I like to party, okay?
They party here in a Muslim state?
Well, now since this mess is going on, we haven't been partying.
Okay.
But before this mess, I was out every night of the week, getting it in hard, okay? So in saying that, as a single woman, I have never felt so safe where I could walk out, let's say I'm leaving a club or wherever, leaving a party 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in fear that someone is going to arm me or assault me, if that makes sense to you. However, in the States, I mean, I've been held at gunpoint before.
Oh, yeah.
I can't name a place in the U.S. that I feel the same in terms of safety. And that alone should speak volumes to even people as a family unit. Let's say you and your wife, and your daughter, your sons. So for me, the safety thing is huge. Now, in terms of other places that I could say, sure, it could be viable to live in. First, I'm going to go back to Mama Alkebulan. One of my most favorite places on the continent is Cape Town. Cape Town is absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. Words, I really can't even articulate it. Seriously, I can't. However, there is still the institution of apartheid up in here. Okay? In here. And so personally, I can't live there because of that. The beauty is unmatched. It is unmatched. Now, getting outside of the continent, I mean, I've been to Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. Indonesia, you have a huge Black diaspora community in Indonesia.
Oh, for real?
And what you all probably do not know, but again, Google is your friend, so don't come over here asking this man these ridiculous questions. Indonesia was actually the front runner for all of this technology stuff. So the first time I went to Indonesia, Go Black, they already had infrared cameras in the airport that could tell if you had fevers and sickness. I'm talking about, this is like 16 years ago. Long before this place, meaning UAE, got on.
Yeah.
Indonesia had it going on. Singapore. I mean, and their architecture. You think this stuff here is something? You haven't seen a thing yet. Traveling allows you to live out the fantasies you had in your head that you got from books in real life. And that's why you should do it. It allows everything you ever read about come to fruition in your real life. And somebody came back and asked to come in, well, how are you able to do all of this traveling? The same way that you all are able to go to the store. Now, as I just told you, I like to party. The same way you're able to go to the store and buy all these designer handbags, buy all these designer cars and luxury cars that you really don't need, extra stuff. That's how I'm able to do it. It's called priorities.
Yeah.
Which he talks about all the time.
Yep.
So he does drop good game, but some of you folks just don't listen. He drops good game. He really, really does. He drops good game. And you all should really take heed to what he is saying, because there's a lot of things just as Americans that we are so used to stuff that we really don't need. I was on your channel and I said to you, one day you were talking about how you had said, I think your dad or your uncle, someone was telling you about paying yourself first. And I said, when I really started getting on my own personal journey, I love accessories. I said, girl, you gotta stop spending all this money on accessories. Next 9. I don't care how many coupons they send me in my email box. Stop spending all of this money on accessories. The same with shoes. I am a shoe person. Same thing. Make things your priorities and you can have what you want. It's really that simple. It really, really is.
You know, I've said this before. Money is not people's problem. It's budgeting it. That's the problem.
You said
if you know what to do with your money, I mean, it goes a long way when you ain't got no debt. Even if you have a little bit. You really do.
Oh, totally. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's all about how you decide that you're going to, like you said, even if it's a little bit, how you're going to spend it. It's really all about that. I am not telling you I am sitting here making $500,000, but again, you're going to have to relinquish some things that you think that you can. It's simple as that.
Nice. Nice. Now, do you go back and forth to America? Do you go back and forth? You have family there? Are you married, kids here? What?
So again, I'm single, no children.
Man. Who's looking for a welter? I know who's going to contact me too. I know who's going to contact me about you. I have few people who be like, is she single? Is she this and that? I already know the watch. I'm going to get one probably in 20 minutes.
Likely.
Yeah.
So I haven't been back stateside since July 2019. I actually had no plans of going back stateside until 2022 because of the project that I have actually going on right now in Ghana.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to get that off the ground. As I said, the construction is going on right now. This is real life, real talk. I'm spending my own money, okay? My own money. So unless something, let's say, catastrophic was to happen, my mother is gone to the great beyond. My dad is still living. I do have a sister. If something in that realm and they say we need you to come home right now, then of course I probably will get on the next thing smoking and leave. However, I live on my own terms. Nobody dictates how Elizabeth lives her life. Just because you have family, that should not dictate how you live. Live on your own terms and you will have no regrets.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. Now, Elizabeth, you know, you have your podcast and all.
Yes.
Please share with the folks because I know I'm seeing a lot of people amen in what you're saying, and so we got to get your information out there. We got to, you know, any social media information and stuff you have, please share.
Sure. So the podcast that I have, which is totally different from what I put on YouTube, the content is vastly different. The podcast is called Afro-Ethiopia. The name came about being, of course, Africa. I took the first part, in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is the only country on the continent never colonized. Mesh them together.
Somebody's going to argue that. Somebody's going to argue
well,
that. But anyway, go ahead. I know. I just had to say that, though.
Afro-Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And it is on all podcast sites. We upload every Sunday. Okay? So, and again, as I said, the content is different than what is on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Elizabeth. And social media, everything is Elizabeth. Now, I don't post a lot on these social outside of my podcast and YouTube because really, theoretically, I am just not this huge social media person that most people probably think that I am. I'm really, really not. Like on my Instagram, I probably haven't posted in maybe 9 months.
Yeah.
Because
so how can they reach you then? I mean, no, you about to say something. Go ahead.
Well, if you go on to the YouTube channel, the email address is oneelizabeth@gmail.com or afroethiopia@gmail.com.
Spell Afro-Ethiopia. Ethiopia, yeah.
Okay. AFRITHIOPIA. Afro-Ethiopia.
All right.
gmail.com.
So what's the content of this Afro-Ethiopia podcast?
The content on there is pretty much a mix of business on the continent, how certain social norms have stagnated countries on the continent, i.e. religion. I am not a religion person at all. And I had a gentleman on the channel that talked about the private school system in Ghana. So if you're a person who's trying to relocate there with your children, he gave some good gems about how the system and the structure there, because he himself is pretty much what you would call a headmaster of a school. So yeah, just different things like that, pretty much.
Nice.
It's really, really varied. When you think about education, culture, business, news, that really is just as wide. It's not really narrow focus. And I did it that way so I could get different guests with different ideologies and different things to come on and speak about different things.
Nice.
Yeah.
So would you say, is there a lot of African Americans that are here, those either from the UK or Canada and from the diaspora? How many, are those have you run across that are right here in Dubai?
So
because you say you like to party. And
yes. I'm telling you, before C19, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a large community here. I know some people. I won't say who they are because these people are connected.
Yeah.
But there's a vast community. The bulk of us that are here, a lot of them are educators. And so you do have a large black diasporan community from the West that are educators, okay? And
Louise, yes, she is Elizabeth on YouTube.
Yes, that is correct. And so you do find a few of them that are in project management, a little bit in engineering, but again, a lot of that engineering is so. I just told you who's got that sewed up. Okay.
Nigerians.
So there's some. You have a lot of them too that run like for example, this particular mall, the high-end stores, maybe they were operating, let's say, Ralph Lauren regionals back at home.
Yeah.
And so they brought them here to really get the stores to be profitable, and that's how they came that way.
Okay.
So different ways like that. I don't know if you're familiar with ABB. ABB is an engineering firm that started in the U.S.
Okay.
They have some people here that work as well. So it just depends on different fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of African Americans here, and they're more into the educational fields and stuff like that.
Of course,
Okay,
of course,
yeah,
of course,
yeah.
of course.
More in the line
the
of the professionals and.
right, but the education field here, that is the biggest pool in terms of the population of us.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you knew before you came here, there's not even 1 million Emiratis. And so when you look around and you see the different nationalities of people or where they come from, that is why. Because even though
Is that what they call themselves, Emiratis?
Yeah, they call Emiratis.
I asked that question last night. I said, "What did you call it?" I know it's like, is it Dubaians or is it UAEans or what? Emiratis.
No, Emirati, because
Okay.
it stands for United Arab Emirates.
Right,
So
yeah, right.
Emiratis. And so with that number being so small, and with all of this development that's going on, they need a what? They need a workforce.
You need a
They
workforce.
need a workforce. And so that is one of the reasons that you see a large population of Indians here from India as well, because they have long had agreements with Indians. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Indians and Sri Lankans and Nepalese, they are not afraid to climb these tall buildings. They don't have a fear of heights.
They don't have a fear of heights of climbing these tall buildings.
No.
Yeah, I'm showing. And there's some tall buildings around here.
Yes. So even when you see them doing the window washing way up high and stuff, they typically come from those countries because they don't have a fear of heights.
Yeah,
FYI.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
Good. So what is your next venture? As far as, I mean, how long are you going to be staying here? And you said you're nomadic.
I am nomadic.
Yeah. You plan on staying? How long you going to live time? Are you moving on somewhere else or?
Well, I'm a very mysterious person in that I keep lots of things to the vest, and you all should be that way as well. Just as Go Black, you all of a sudden you saw him where? Here. You don't tell all your moves.
Sometimes I tell too much. If someone listen real closely, I did tell them a few times, yeah.
But you have to be, I'm strategic about where I am next, but I will be in and out of the continent all of 2021.
Okay.
So now when I get there and all of that, you will just happen to see a video.
Right. Yeah.
But how long I'm going to be here, again, I have never lived really anywhere outside of my home state longer than 5 years, and that was prior to me being on my own. So I can probably say I won't be here in 5 years. Let's say that.
Yeah. What is your home state?
My home state is Texas,
Oh, what part?
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas,
Okay.
Texas.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Dallas, Texas. Yep.
Awesome. Now so you're doing the podcast. You got
Yes.
this project going over in Ghana.
Yes.
Please repeat that again. Is that like a NGO? Is that something that you personally embarking on, a group or effort? If people
So I
want
do
to be
have a
involved with
partner
that?
that I worked with. She and I worked together years ago.
Okay.
As I mentioned to you, I used to be a school teacher, and my area of specialty was sensory impairment. So working with the blind, working with the deaf. Okay, and so yes, I did start an NGO in Ghana. The institute, which sits under the NGO, is called Marilee Bakery and Institute. Okay, and what we are going to do is to teach the teens. They have to be teens at a certain age. We're going to teach them a trade on how to bake bread, bake cakes, all of these things. And basically, the program is called Bakers to Business. They're going to learn how to bake and learn how to sell their wares. What people don't really realize is that in Ghana, bread baking and just baking in general it's way up there in terms of the need. Okay, And so again, most of the countries on the continent, people with sensory impairments are overlooked. It's almost reminiscent of how we used to do them back in the 1900s in America. And, we would push them off to the closet.
Yeah.
Or, we didn't want to be bothered. That still
Put 'em
exists
on the
on
corner
the
of society.
continent.
Yeah.
And all they want to do is contribute to their society, their economy, just like you and I.
Yeah.
Just like you and I.
Yeah.
And so this is something that is dear to me. And yes, it will become expansive. The home, and let's say the prototype is going to start in Ghana. But eventually that will move elsewhere. We're not going to tell you where it's going to move. Again, I move in silence. You're just going to be hearing about it. And there it is.
Yeah. Well, great. I mean, hey, you know what? That sounds like you're doing some powerful things and all. And especially giving back to the motherland.
Yes.
So it seems like you got a heart and a love for the motherland. Some people, they think everybody should be there on the ground at any given point, and that is people think that's where you should be.
Yes.
I mean, there's people out, like I said, to those who's moved out of Africa, who's living in the Western world and all that right there. A lot of y'all left and they ain't doing nothing for the continent. And so they want to they're the ones who give me the hard time. Like, oh, you said something about my country. But yet, what are you doing for the country? What are you doing for your country? Are you giving back? Are you building, or are you just building the Western world? So it seems like you are plugged in and you doing some things.
Yeah, I'm not a person. I don't do a lot of lip service. I'm an action person, and what I found too, just as you said, a lot of continental Africans, because they have been brainwashed that the West is better, and I don't want to per se take that from them, because that was a part of media. And you being a military man, he who controls the most powerful military can control a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, propaganda, media, clothing, social norms, social engineering, just so much. And so I understand why they feel that way, but at the same time, you cannot come back and get mad with someone if they speak a truth about from whence you coming, and it's true, but you're not back doing your part. Because I am never going to take a DNA test, okay? I'm melanin. That's all I need to know. I'm good with that. And so all I'm going to do is do my part here on earth, and then whatever happens, happens. I live by the principles of Ma'at. So no, I don't practice all of these organized religions. You follow the principles of Ma'at, you be doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. I'm good. I'm gravy.
All right. She said it. She said it. She answered a lot of questions that I was watching as it scrolled up.
Yeah.
Saying Ma'at, I mean, if you subscribe to that,
Hey.
that right there, hey, that shows that you already know the balance and the basic of life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. And you know what's interesting? Like, I listened to, and this may have been a few weeks ago when you were talking about the tour you had taken. I think you took a tour with Anthony Browder.
No, I took mine with Ezra Kwesi.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those tours that those brothers, even with Anthony Browder, I read his first book. I was a young, dumb college student trying to find my way, and the brother enlightened me so hard. I mean, I went home and my parents was like, you done lost mine. What are you reading? Stop reading that stuff. No, I want you to read it.
Yeah.
It gave me, it polarized me inside to really seek out just different things. And that pretty much led me on this journey that in terms of my life that I am today. So if those of you, the Browder Files, if you haven't read that, get that. Francis Cress Welsing's books, get that. And if you are calling yourself, what we say, B1, and you don't have Dr. Amos Wilson's The Blueprint, get off his stream right now. Because you playing.
B1. Teach one, be one.
Exactly. What was it before? Teach one, each one, or reach one.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
all of that. So there you have it. Yes, let's build Africa. Let's.
Okay. All righty then. We're going to end right here. 5 questions that y'all want to ask.
Sure.
She can answer 5 questions that dealing with her travels, whether to the Mother Africa or here to Dubai or anywhere else she's been around. How many continents?
6.
6 continents. Yeah.
6 continents.
All right, let's see what we're gonna have come up in here.
Okay, let's see. It's simplistic to
Hummingbirds says, thank you so much.
Seems like you all are talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Well, it's like a delay, like almost 20-second delay, so it'll
Okay.
take a second or two to come up.
Okay.
See, look. Hey, bro, this is Colin. What's up, Colin? Love her African-centric like me. That's the first one I was talking about because I'm going to reach out and ask about. He's the first one I'm thinking about.
Where's your boy Maximilla?
I think
I hadn't seen him lately.
I think somebody mentioned his name. I don't know. He might be in the chat.
Okay, because he's always on with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any questions coming in? Let's see here. How easy was it to obtain Dubai visa?
Well, if you are an American citizen with an American passport, you can enter the country without a visa for 30 days. Okay? And no, you cannot work under a entry visa like that for 30 days. If you're caught, you will be put in prison. So FYI.
There we go. Let's see.
They only want to ask business questions. Okay.
Let's see.
Why the stream must end so abruptly? It's not ending abruptly.
That means everybody's loving you. They don't want to go, you know.
Says, are you guys planning?
Go ahead.
Are you guys planning to visit Liberia at any point in time? Of course. I am personally. I think you've been to Liberia though.
I haven't. No, me and my wife will go.
Okay.
You know, that's on our list. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody else with a visa question. You answered that.
Yes, I did.
What's the best place you went to in Africa?
So I don't want to use the terminology of best place. Just like Go Black, wherever you travel to, it is going to be about the compromises that you want to make for your own personal standard of living. Now, I did mention that I absolutely love Cape Town, South Africa. That the beauty is unparalleled to the places I've been to. I've been to a bunch of places, okay? But just picking one, no, I'm not doing that. That's divisive.
I'm gonna bring this up. Somebody asked this right here, and I'm gonna kind of present it a different way. This right here, because they mentioned about really maltreatment of what the media and the YouTubers are sharing about Africans coming here and being mistreated and having visas taken and held until work is completed, or passing them on to others that may be. I got it. That is those topics that are going on in the medias here. Of that, is there that you know of?
So let me say this. It used to be, when I first started coming just to this region, it used to be really, really, really rampant with that because of the nature of Arabs.
Okay.
Arabs, most of them, I'm going to say 90% of them think that they are better than everyone because of oil money.
Because of oil money.
Yeah. And so when people are pompous like that, they'll treat anybody wrong, okay? Not just people that look like you and I. They'll treat anyone wrong. So there is truth to that with them holding passports before and all of that. However, the Emirati government recognized that there were a lot of issues going on with that, especially with people committing suicide, and they've changed laws with that. Now, the caveat to that is that no condition is permanent. What do I mean by that? You may find yourself with a well-connected Emirati family, and let's say the wife has done something untoward to a maid, a caregiver, and nothing may happen to her because she may be number 3 with the king's lineage. Whereas if that were you, we're going to have to be sending you some food to the jailhouse. Because they don't feed the inmates like we do in America.
Yeah, okay.
Bring you your food, okay?
Yeah.
So it depends, but at the same time, recognize this. Don't look at that. What I don't like about people, especially non-travelers, because a lot of these questions like this are posed by people who are not travelers.
Yeah.
We can talk about the slavery and stuff that goes on in the United States of America. We can talk about the mess that has been made in Libya by the United States of America, and now we are back to slavery back in that country. Whatever you thought about Muammar Gaddafi, listen, you can't compare to what he was doing to his people. His people were not paying utility bills. They were getting checks every month. But the minute this man started talking about how he is going to make one currency on the continent, which would eliminate monies for other nations, now it's time that he is basically threatening the world. So just think about that. This stuff happens everywhere, not just here.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's something. That's the best way I can answer that.
We got 2 last questions we're going to ask.
Okay, 2 last. All right.
One person's asking, is there any central location here in Dubai where African Americans and the diaspora comes? Yeah, go ahead. That meets. Is there any place that they meet? Are there any WhatsApp groups or anything that they came here they can connect with, kind of get some contacts or something like that?
So you all, they getting ready to hate me now. So let me tell you something about me. What I don't do is look for enclaves of folks from the West. I want to meet all of the folks from the continent of Africa. So yes, I am in a lot of groups that deal with a lot of continental Africans. So I'm going to say that. If I wanted to meet up with a bunch of Americans, I'd have kept my black at home. I'm being nice, but this is his channel, because you come over to my channel, I gets it in. So, no, I keep my stuff that way. That's me personally now. So I can't officially answer that question. I mean, I understand.
Well, what I've said, even being in Africa, is that I'm not trying to congregate with African Americans.
You would say that at home.
Yes, exactly. I mean, why would I not want to merge with the locals and merge with the people, become like what our people are? So, and like I told y'all before too, sometimes you got to get outside of just your race and you have a couple people out of other cultures in your circle, because it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
To that. And speaking to that, a quick caveat to that is when I was in Kuwait, one of the best families outside of the gentleman that helped me change careers was a lady who was from Palestine. And when I tell you she could throw down, I mean, I'm not adventurous when it comes to food. This woman had me try, and the food was just delicious. So I've met some of her friends that live here. So he's absolutely correct. But be open. But no, I'm not looking for the American enclaves. That's the case I need to go home.
Yeah. Yep. All right then, family. You've heard it. Hey, we're going to end right here. Some people are asking, what is your channel? You got them now. What's your channel again?
Lizabitty. Some of you guys are coming in late. The channel is Lizabitty across everything. Okay? There you go.
Okay. And as far as your podcast?
Podcast, Afro-Ethiopia. That's AFRITHIOPIA on all podcast platforms. And there you go.
All righty. Hey, family. You've heard it here. We got an opportunity to meet a sister that is doing great things for Africa, who's pushing, the message along. And so, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you.
Thank you for
doing this interview. And now she's going to interview me on her podcast. And when is that, when people can hear that podcast?
You can actually get the episode next Sunday. Each episode is uploaded every Sunday.
Okay, all right. And they can find it where?
They can find it on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where podcasts are found.
Lizabitty.
There you go.
All righty then. Family, going to end with this, like I always do, saying that thank you for those right here who's come in and watched, and your beautiful comments and your blessings that you always, speak in the atmosphere towards my way. Those who like to share the videos and all that there. Those who financially give. Thank you very much. And this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. All right.
Peace out.
All righty. Okay.